Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans, and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
A night of comedy with Sebastian Maniscalco and Jim Gaffigan.
Now, is this a family? Is this your mother? Where is she? Is she in the crowd? You don't know where your mom is. The mom's up there. What kind of family is this? I'm sorry.
Sebastian Maniscalco and Jim Gaffigan.
I went ziplining for the last time. What is wrong with us? Would you pay $200 to feel like you're about to die 6 times?
Live in Memphis, FedEx Forum, Friday, February 21st. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right. I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking from Midtown Manhattan, New York City. Bennett Doyle back inside Built Ford Tough Studio, downtown Memphis. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you enjoyed MLK Day inside FedEx Forum. Grizzlies got a win over the Timberwolves. John, Jaren, Dez, all played, all scored big numbers. Another victory for the hometown Grizzlies inside FedEx Forum. TNT crew, looks like they're coming around. Looks like they're a little impressed. We'll talk about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. When we finish, it's open. Take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, the Ohio State Buckeyes, college football's national champions. Most expensive roster in the history of the sport. Won the first 12-team playoff last night. Beat Notre Dame 34-23. Fun game down in Atlanta. Spend some time on that. We'll do it in about 20 minutes. The early rankings for next season college football already out. I'll tell you who CBS has number 1. We'll do that a little later on in the show. With college football over, college basketball now moves closer to the front of the sports conversation. Big game tonight in Knoxville. I'll get you ready for that in just a little bit. Mark Zuckerberg was among the super wealthy people who were at President Trump's inauguration yesterday. Got caught looking at another super wealthy man's fiance's breast. I mean, that's – did I describe that?
No, that's accurate. You did. Well described, yes.
Felt like a lot of words, but I think I got it right.
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg got caught looking at another super wealthy man's fiance's breast. I think that's what happened.
That's what happened.
Anytime Billy Ray Cyrus had to sing a cappella, I'd advise him not to try that again. You know, we all have our strengths and weaknesses. Yeah. I would advise him not to try that again. Elon did some wild stuff with his arms. It's a scene up there.
A lot to get to.
There's a lot going on yesterday in our nation's capital. We'll discuss that in the next segment. And Justin Bieber created headlines overnight by unfollowing his wife on Instagram. His wife, of course, Haley Bieber, beautiful Haley Bieber. What does that mean? I'll tell you what we know. I'll get you updated on this national nightmare. We'll do that during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carryout, and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies because Game 43 of a scheduled 82, it was played yesterday in downtown Memphis. MLK Day, always a big day inside FedEx Forum, except for that one time when the NBA moved the Grizzlies off of MLK Day. That was
stupid. I forgot about that.
Bennett, I'm hesitant to call it stupid because I think I'm hesitant to call it stupid or dumb because if I remember correctly, I think maybe some people who work in our building were in favor of that at the time. So I'm hesitant to call it stupid or dumb. I'll just call it misguided. It felt like a misguided, missed opportunity at the time. Either way, we got to worry about that no more. Yesterday, we got another big day inside FedEx Forum on MLK Day. No such issue like it used to be in the past. Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves came south to play the Grizzlies inside FedEx Forum, as is usually the case this season at least. The home team won. Final score, Grizz 108, Timberwolves 106. Anthony Edwards missed a 26-footer at the buzzer, and that allowed the Grizzlies to complete a comeback and win by 2 after trailing by as many as 16 points earlier in the game. Ja Morant did start after being listed as questionable and then upgraded to probable. Ja Morant did start, finished with 19.7 assists, 4 rebounds. He did that in 30 minutes on the court. He was a plus 15. Jaren Jackson Jr., team high 24 points, also grabbed 11 rebounds. Desmond Bane added 22.6 rebounds, 5 assists. So the 3 franchise stars combined to get 65 points, 21 rebounds, 12 assists in a combined 99 minutes on the court. Big stage, TNT, they showed up, and now the Grizz, 28-15 overall, 16-5 at home. 5th best record in the NBA, alone in 3rd Western Conference standings, just a half game back of Houston in the West. Big Bet Bennett, unfortunately, I had to fly here to New York yesterday afternoon. That kept me away from downtown Memphis. But you got to be inside FedEx Forum and experience sold-out crowd and the Grizzlies' 28th victory of the season. Make me jealous. Tell me what it was like to be inside FedEx Forum for a glorious afternoon of winning basketball.
Well, it was a tale of 2 halves. The first half was disastrous, and it was dead. I'm just calling it like it is. It was dead in the building. It's why, you heard Taylor Jenkins talk about Gigi made his debut, season debut yesterday, and Taylor Jenkins said in the postgame that they hadn't really planned on playing Gigi yesterday, but the crowd was dead. The Grizzlies were losing, and he was just trying to inject some life into it, and it did. People got fired up when Gigi came into the game. But yeah, that first half was brutal, and then the second half, the Grizzlies just came out and took care. They took care of a team that they are better than. It's just that simple, right? They've got the Wolves number. They just do. They've got the Timberwolves number, and it's kind of cool to know that because we talked about their record versus the West and, wondering about who could they match up with in the playoffs. Man, I'd love to match up with that team.
Bennett's inviting the Timberwolves to come down whenever they want to. The door's open. We'll leave a key under the mat if we need to. Timberwolves, you can come down to Memphis anytime you want to. We'd be happy to have you.
We've already won a playoff series against them. We've beaten them twice already this season. They don't have Karl Towns anymore. I would love to. If I could pick one team that is in the playoff picture in the West to play in the first round, I would pick that team.
Oh, man, Bennett wants to move them down here and just play them every day. That's how little respect he has for the Timberwolves.
Calling it like it is.
Bennett's just here to call it like it is. We'll get back to the disappointing Timberwolves in a minute. Like you said, it wasn't the prettiest game in the history of the sport, in the history of this season, in the history of Dr. King's birthday, right? But it was a win.
Right.
So who cares? And this is where I'm at on this stuff. For the most part, it was a win. Who cares that the Grizzlies shot 21.2% from 3? Do you care, Bennett?
I do not care.
I don't care, not today. Do you care that Ja Morant missed 11 of the 16 shots he took?
No.
Not something I care about today. What about Santi Aldama missing 7 of the 8 shots he took? That bothering you? You all fired up about that?
I was kind of sad about it, but no, I'm good.
Does it disappoint you, frustrate you that the Grizzlies had to outscore Minnesota by 7 in the fourth quarter just to win a home game by 2? You freaked out about that?
I am not.
It sounds to me like you're a man just focused on that record, 28-15. You just gonna focus on that, right?
I think so. Yeah. I see where you're going. I like this positive attitude.
I'm going to stay consistent on this. If you want to nitpick every little thing and every little decision connected to every bounce of the ball, knock yourself out. But I'm too busy to play along with you. Life's too short. Ain't no way I'm about to be mad about a 28-15 basketball team when I can get mad about, more serious things like people stealing my iPhone chargers out of my home nonstop, right? I have purchased no less than 175 iPhone chargers, plugs and cords and cubes over the years. I should be able to cover the whole neighborhood at this point. Right now, there's like probably 4 in my house. Where do they go, you think?
No idea.
Nobody will ever plead guilty to that charge. You can't get anybody to confess to it. You can't get anybody to confess to it.
That's tough.
You say, hey, where do you need iPhone chargers? And they say, need them here, 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 and there. You say, okay, here, boom, 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 and they disappear. So I got real issues, to deal with around the house. I don't have the energy to be upset about a 28-15 basketball team. Do you understand what we're watching right now? Do you understand? I don't think people understand how good it is actually right now. The Grizzlies have the 5th best record in the NBA, 3rd best record in the West, while starting 2 rookies, and while Ja Morant has only played in like 24 of the 43 games. Why are we mad?
I don't know. I mean, I think obviously the first half of that game yesterday was rough, and it was pretty lifeless in the building. So I can understand the frustration, but I mean, this goes back to what me and you've talked about a lot. It's why I wait till the end of games to tweet any kind of grand statement about the game, because these things flip super quickly. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. The Grizzlies were losing at home. They looked terrible, couldn't hit a shot against an inferior opponent, and they were able to flip it. That's just kind of the ebb and flow of NBA games, right?
It's ebb and flow of an NBA game. It's the ebb and flow of an NBA season. Again, I just can't reiterate this enough. If every time you find yourself upset about something, quickly try to remind yourself the Grizzlies are 28-15, 5th best record in the NBA, 3rd best record in the West, 7th best odds to win the title, and they're doing this while starting 2 rookies, and Ja Morant has only played in 25 of the 43 games.
Yeah.
Every time you start to get upset, tell yourself that the small market Grizzlies have the 3rd best record in the West, and it could be the 2nd best by the end of the week, even though they're starting 2 rookies and Ja Morant's only played 25 games.
That's good stuff.
What you so mad about?
That's good stuff, and I completely agree. Speaking of that, dude, Jalen Wells yesterday, it's crazy what this dude's doing for a 2nd-round pick. I mean, he's got the Anthony Edwards assignment last night, and Anthony Edwards had a good first half. He scored 10 points in the second half of that game. He's doing an unbelievable job on these teams' best players.
Jalen Wells is emerging as Anthony Edwards' worst nightmare.
That appears so. Yeah. Is that what Anthony Edwards dreams about, is Jalen Wells guarding him?
Today's January 21st, 2025. Imagine somebody saying on January 21st, 2024, that within a year, Anthony Edwards' worst nightmare will be Jalen Wells.
God.
You would have said, who?
How things change, yeah.
And I would have said, he plays at Washington State. Oh, wow. Is he like an All-American? Oh, no, he's their 3rd leading scorer. Oh, cool. Where was he before that? Division II. What are we talking about? This
crazy.
Is what he would have said.
No, his story is crazy. About? Yeah. He joined the post game yesterday and was talking about just how he basically, Eric and Elliot had a kid up there that was sitting in with him, and he was asking what advice would Jalen Wells give to that kid, and he just said be a Swiss Army knife, be good at multiple things. Don't be one-dimensional. When he came out of college, what was he? He was a three-point shooter, right? Well, I mean, is that really how Grizzlies fans view Jalen Wells? Yeah, he can hit a 3, but he's been a great defender. He gets a couple assists a game. He's doing a little bit of everything. That's why he's starting.
Grizzlies fans didn't view him coming out of college.
Right. That's right.
We had no views. I mean, I have to cover college basketball and the NBA draft, so I had a very surface level understanding of Jalen Wells. But most Grizzlies fans, I wouldn't even have recognized the name. I don't think people knew what to expect. Honestly, you know what I expected? For him to be an interesting player for the hustle.
Same. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Like, man, I can't wait to take my kids down to South Haven one night when I'm in town and let them, fist bump Yuki and Jalen Wells. That's where I thought we were headed.
Right.
Instead, he's starting for the team with the 5th best record in the NBA. He's taking tough defensive assignments every night, and he's not winning every one of them, but he is exceeding all reasonable expectations, and frankly, most unreasonable expectations. For
sure.
We always say it like that, like he's exceeding all, they are exceeding all reasonable expectations. This dude's exceeding all unreasonable expectations.
That's
like
right.
If you had unreasonable expectations for Jalen Wells, he's exceeding them. He's been incredible. Like, he might be the rookie of the year after being picked 39th, after being the 3rd leading scorer on a 7 seed in last March's NCAA tournament. Think about that for a second. He could go from being the 3rd leading scorer on a 7 seed in the NCAA tournament to the rookie of the year. That's bananas.
Wild.
But that's where we're at. 28-15, 3rd best record in the West, 5th best record in the NBA. You're starting 2 rookies, and Ja's only appeared in 25 games. What you mad for? Things are pretty good. And the TNT crew, they're starting to take notice. I know you saw this conversation yesterday, and this is one of the benefits of playing games on national television, because then they have studio shows on national television, and then they are forced to talk about you. They're forced to acknowledge you. They're forced to pay attention to what you're doing. Like tonight, I'm going to be on television talking about West Virginia and Darren DeVries and Javon Small and all of these things that I haven't really talked about yet in college basketball so far this season. I'll be talking about them tonight on TV. You want to know why? Because we have a West Virginia game on our air. So I need to talk about West Virginia. So now I'm going to be saying things on national TV tonight about West Virginia because they're on our air. The Grizzlies got that opportunity yesterday to be on TNT. It forces the TNT guys to pay attention, to talk about them. Conversation got into, all right, if Oklahoma City is the best team in the West, and it certainly looks that way, tip of the hat to those guys, they're fabulous. But if we're trying to figure out who's the biggest threat, who's the 2nd best team in the West, well, let's have that conversation. So Shaq and Kenny and Ernie and Char, they decided to have that conversation, and here's the way it unfolded.
Sure. Who's the 2nd best team in the West?
The 2nd best team.
Don't go by the record.
No, I'm saying the 2nd best team in the West, in my opinion,
The Memphis
is
Grizzlies.
the Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay. Shaq?
Denver, because Jamal's been stepping it up last couple games.
I agree with you. I watched them play, but I still think they need to make a trade to get better on the bench. But that's a very good. I was curious what both of y'all
But those
thought.
3 teams, to me, the Memphis Grizzlies, Denver Nuggets, and the Oklahoma City Thunder, with the Rockets looking on the outside end, those 3 teams can win it all.
Thing about Memphis, now that they're healthy, they're looking like that old Memphis team. And when you look at what they do well, it's almost a mirror of what they were doing a couple of years ago. Points in the paint, fast break points, points off turnovers, all of those where they excel, and they're doing it again.
I agree, because I think Memphis, I've said it last week, I think they're the 2nd best, but Denver's playing well. They're playing really good right now.
Jamal Murray's back.
But I still think they need one guy off the bench. They gave all their bench away, and I think that's the one thing, that's their one weakness, because just those 2 great players, I don't think it's going to get you through all those rounds. That's just my opinion.
One other thing about the Grizz, shooting the 3 ball better. Now, this is a great stat from Underdog. 17 years in a row, Memphis finished in the bottom half in the league in 3-point percentage, but this year, top 10. And so that's one area of improvement. They still turn the ball over too much.
Luke Kennard.
Luke Kennard, part of that, 100%.
Yeah, that is a team that is fun to watch, number 1 in pace. And
very well coached, too. Very well
Taylor
coached.
Jenkins, they are 28 and 15.
I mean, what do you want to hear? That's Ernie Johnson.
Yeah, that was good stuff. That was good stuff.
Ernie Johnson. I don't want to speak for Ernie Johnson. I'll let Ernie Johnson speak for himself. But what I heard there, what these ears heard, what I heard Ernie Johnson say, it's my interpretation of that. I heard Ernie Johnson say put the Grizzlies in the finals.
Well, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it.
What it sounded like to me. That's my own interpretation.
Yeah.
That's my own interpretation of what Ernie Johnson said. Put the Grizzlies in the finals. Charles Barkley says they're well coached too.
How about
if
that?
You're a Grizzlies fan right now,
How about
if
that?
you're a Grizzlies fan right now, you're a fan of a franchise that Ernie Johnson says is back to looking like that team it was a few years ago, except they shoot the 3-ball better than ever. Charles Barkley says they look like they're well coached. And across the desk, for the most part, they say that looks like the second best team in the West behind Oklahoma City. That looks like a team that can win a championship. What are we mad about?
I feel good. And also, I mean, you look at the standings, like they're a half game back of 2 now. I know that the two Houston losses, left a bad taste in people's mouths. But, like, you look at the Grizzlies' schedule this week, dude, they've got a chance to reclaim that 2 seed. I mean, you've got 3 winnable games coming up at home. So,
about to fly right past them. About to fly right past the Rockets. I know you're not used
reclaim
to
our spot.
About to fly right past the Rockets. What you mad for? If you're mad about this, man, there ain't no telling how mad you're going to be when things are actually not good, right?
Right. No, that's fair.
If you're mad when things are good, buddy, that's a hard life to live. You could be a Timberwolves fan. Back to them, those disappointing Timberwolves. 56-26 last season. They were the 3rd seed in the West.
Mm-hmm.
And then they moved Karl-Anthony Towns because they're broke.
That appears they're broke. It appears they're broke.
They're broke, so they had to move Karl-Anthony Towns to New York. And now they're just 22-21, 9th in the West. And I say this as respectfully as I could say it. But part of the problem is our franchise's all-time leader in points, Mike Conley.
Yeah, I mean, look, Mike is one of the oldest players in the league.
Okay. And I didn't mean to get you agitated.
No. I don't want to make him the scapegoat for their issues necessarily.
He's not the scapegoat.
No, I got it. I'll give you a bigger issue. Julius Randle. He was 0 of 7 from 3 last night.
Bennett wanted to change the conversation real quick.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to hurt you, Mike Conley.
That's a soft spot. Come on, man.
I saw that triggered you.
It did. No, he looks like an older player in this league right now. Yeah,
he looks like an older player in this league. Yeah, they got bigger problems than Mike Conley.
Yeah,
but Mike Conley used to be something that helped you alleviate problems, and now he's just one of the problems, right? They have bigger problems. Maybe that's the best way to put it. They have bigger problems than Mike Conley, but Mike Conley just a couple years ago was somebody that helped you solve problems, and now he's just creating more. He's just he's a part of the problem as opposed to part of the thing that helps you alleviate the problems. He was held to single digits yesterday for the 7th time in the past 8 games. On the season, he's now 37 years old. He's averaging a career low 7.8 points per game, shooting a career low from the field, playing a career low number of minutes per game. This is just how it happens. Mike's under guaranteed contract for 1 more season at roughly $10.4 million. And he's always going to be a leader, locker room guy, check those boxes. But his days of a useful starter on a contender, that might be done. I hope not. But his days of being a useful starter on a contender, that might be over. Father Time doesn't wait for anybody, Bennett, other than LeBron James and Beyonce. Beyonce.
Yeah, I think Beyonce's fair.
Brad Pitt.
I would tend to agree with that one too. Paul Rudd. He doesn't age. He's a vampire.
See, Father Time waits for nobody other than LeBron, Beyonce, Brad Pitt, and Paul Rudd. So if retirement is, say, less than 2 years away from Mike, that would obviously make some sense. Put another way, this is what I'm trying to say, Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday could have been one of your last times to ever see Mike Conley play inside FedEx Forum. I hope you treated him well.
I did. I gave him a round of applause. I absolutely did. He's a legend. His jersey will hang from the rafters. I couldn't really tell. I couldn't really tell. It was loud. It was MLK Day game, so like it's super loud when you're doing all the intros and stuff. Like it was a big event in here yesterday, so I didn't really notice either way.
Yeah, I get it. It's a little bit like, I remember the first time he came back to Memphis after leaving Memphis, and that was like a big deal. Like I took my kids, and it was like a big deal. We all wanted to be there for that, and that was like the first time, you see your ex-girlfriend after you broke up. And it was like you got all these weird feelings. And then after a while, it just doesn't feel the same way anymore. And then after a while, you see your ex-girlfriend, you bump into your ex-girlfriend at the bar, and it's just like, hey, what's up? And that's it. It doesn't feel the way it used to feel. Hey, it's good to see you, or not, whatever. but it doesn't feel the way it used to feel. You think that's where we are with Mike Conley now? Like, we still love him and we had some good times, but it just doesn't feel the way it used to feel. Is that where we're at now?
Maybe so. I see people talking about it in the chat, and I agree. Like, this is clearly a deadline team. Like, they have got to make a move because they're a disaster as currently constructed right now. I wonder if Mike could be like a part. Like, maybe you know what the Timberwolves should do? They should send Mike to a team that is ready to contend for a championship this season, which they are not. I know they went.
Bennett, I think you're missing the point. He's not ready to compete for a championship.
Yeah, but he's starting for them. He's
that's
supposed.
The problem.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, send him to a team where he's coming off the bench for a contender, like that he can help them. They're asking him to play a role right now that he can't play anymore.
Maybe. I'm worried that the best might be in the rearview mirror.
I hear you. It might be true for Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert too. I mean, they combined for 9 points yesterday.
It's a mess. It's a mess. And you say that they have to be a deadline team. This is just another way to reiterate the point I was trying to make about the Grizzlies. It feels like every team in the NBA, other than Oklahoma City and Cleveland and Boston, is a quote deadline team. What are they going to do? In Milwaukee, what are they going to do in Golden State? We don't have those types of problems right now.
We do not. We do not.
We can make a move, and perhaps should make a move, but nobody's out there like they have to or else. As currently constructed, the Grizzlies are considered a contender, and the Timberwolves are not. And just a year ago, maybe two. You weren't saying necessarily both of those things the way you're saying them now. They had to make some money decisions, and I understood why they did what they did. I think everybody understood the motivating factors behind it, but from a basketball perspective, it's been a net negative. The Knicks could be in the Eastern Conference Finals, even the NBA Finals after this deal, and the Timberwolves look like they're not gonna sniff the things. They were on the wrong side of this basketball deal. I understood why they had to do it, but it'd be incorrect to suggest that it's gone well. Next up for the Grizzlies, the Hornets are coming to town. LaMelo Ball's going to be in town.
Okay.
Jello Ball's brother is going to be in town. Do you swerve into that corner, Bennett?
Do you think so? I mean, he's performing at the freaking NFL playoffs. Like, I don't know if we could get him to come. I was wondering, like, maybe he could do, like, the little pregame, like, warm-up deal.
You want him to come swerve in that corner?
Yeah, I mean, that song's obviously massive right now. But I don't think that Memphis on a Wednesday night's going to be the spot.
I don't think Jello's going to play his big hit inside FedEx Forum tomorrow night. I got no reason to think that that's going to be our reality. But could he be there? I don't know. His brother is going to be there, and he was just at his brother's game the other day. And he does, mention Memphis in his big viral hit.
That's right.
In there.
That's right.
So maybe LaMelo Ball and the Hornets are going to be in town. Perhaps Jello too. Hornets Grizz tomorrow night inside FedEx Forum. Tip scheduled little after 7 o'clock. Tickets available. Grizzlies.com. Can't wait for that one. See if the Grizz can get their 29th win of the season. And see what y'all decide to be mad about then. 29-15. Let's get mad about something. Woo! We come back, turn our attention to college football. Ohio State's our national champion. 8 weeks after being fired on the internet, Ryan Day is a national champion. Congrats to him. Cool story. We'll talk college football next. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans, and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
Memphis Cat is back with his Heaven on Earth tour.
I tried to be incognito, but thanks to Shannon Sharp's loud mouth, the gig is up.
February 22nd in the FedEx Forum.
In my spare time, I infiltrate the Illuminati, look for their secrets, run back, tell y'all.
Don't miss this year's most talked about comedy icon live. He's back with brand new material, an unmatched wit, and an electrifying performance. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
It's your turn to drive into luxury at Southland Casino Hotel. Join us on Saturdays to win your share of up to $1 million in free play and prizes. And don't miss the chance to take home luxury itself during the grand finale drawings. Drive off in a 2025 Land Rover on February 1st or a 2025 Range Rover on March 1st. 2 vehicles, 2 finales, 1 million ways to enjoy luxury only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 or up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
The Ohio State Buckeyes are college football's national champions. The most expensive roster in the history of the sport. Won the first 12-team college football playoff. Beat Notre Dame 34-23. Fun game down in Atlanta. Jeremiah Smith, freshman receiver, made the big play to secure the win. One-on-one coverage, and buddy, he barbecued chicken some fella same way he would any college player stuck in one-on-one hell against him. And yes, I mean any college player, even the Heisman Trophy winner. Like this dude, Jeremiah Smith's on another level. He could be a number 1 receiver. Do you hear people talking about this? You can probably see it with your own eyes, but there's like legitimate football people who are like, he could be a number 1 receiver in the NFL right now, like right now. But based on current rules, he's not allowed to enter the NFL draft until 2027. He should file a lawsuit to try to become draft eligible. I don't know that he'd win it, but I'm not certain he would lose it. I mean, he's ready from a talent perspective and from a physicality perspective. 6'3", 225. He just put together. It's insane that he can't enter the NFL draft for 2 more years and possibly illegal. Again, like he should test the legality of that between the NFL and the NFL Players Association. Like I said, I don't know that he'd win, but I don't know that he'd lose either. When they needed a big play, there he was making a big play.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that. Like you don't want to like open the floodgate. I think it's different than basketball. Like I don't think you want to open up the door for football players that are, freshmen, sophomore in college to just be NFL draft eligible. I think first off, you'd see a ton of disappointment, guys that just end up like losing their careers, their football careers, trying to get drafted in an NFL draft. But yeah, like these guys that are, one of one, like I agree with you. Like this guy doesn't need to play 2 more years of college. It's crazy.
I think everybody should be draft eligible whenever they want. And if you don't want to take them, you don't have to.
I feel you. I mean, there's the physicality difference. There's a difference there. Like some of these guys are completely different looking humans. Their first year in college and their senior year or junior year in college.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be part of the job, figuring out
I got
who's
you.
who.
I got you.
What. This was the argument people would use against the NBA draft being able to select high school people. They would say, and I agree with you. Let me be clear. Football's dramatically different than basketball. Like, you can tell Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant when he's 16 years old.
Right.
Whoever looks like he's Patrick Mahomes at 16 years old might never start in college in football. I mean, you just don't know nearly as clearly in football as you do in basketball. It's more difficult to see. The physical development over the time is more important. I agree on every one of those points. But if there is a rule that is unfair to one person, then that is a rule that I don't want in place. And any rule that prevents Jeremiah Smith from being in the NFL is a rule that's unfair, because he's good enough to be there. Somebody would pay him to be there. We just have an arbitrary rule that keeps him out of there. But he's good enough to be there. If you just told NFL franchises right now, if you want him, you can sign him, give him whatever you want, they would all line up and try to sign him to a contract right now. Right? He belongs in that league right now. But there's just this arbitrary rule that prevents him. It has been tested before. He should be the guy who tested again. My point about the NBA draft, for years people would say things like, well, the reason you can't let high school players be draft eligible is because, and then they would hold up whoever the biggest disaster was among high school players who entered the draft.
Sebastian Telfair or whoever.
There was one guy that got drafted by the Dallas Mavericks in the first round. I don't remember his name right now, but had mental health problems, and they would just hold him up as like, the Mavericks spent a first-round pick on this guy, and now look at him. He's unstable, and that's why you don't draft high school players. I did a project one time. I actually based it on the Grizzlies just because of the Memphis connection. And I did a project where, in a period of time where high school players were entering the NBA draft, so I guess it starts with Kevin Garnett in 1995, and it goes all the way through the draft class just before Greg Oden and Kevin Durant, because that's the reason Oden and Durant went to college, is they were the first class that was prohibited from going straight to the NBA draft. Otherwise, both of them probably would have. So that's how. So we had this window there. It was roughly a decade, a window where if you were a high school player and you wanted to enter the NBA draft, you could enter it if you wanted to. Kevin Garnett did it. Kobe Bryant did it. LeBron James did it. Amari Stoudemire, in the studio with us yesterday, he did it. A bunch of players did. Some of them successfully, some of them not so successfully. And when people were trying to argue against it, they would always hold up the not so successful ones without recognizing that quite literally the safest thing you could do as an NBA franchise in that period of time was select the best high school player available. I did a project one time where if the Memphis Grizzlies would have fired their entire scouting department, fired everybody, and simply, when it was time to pick, turned in a card that said, please go to rivals.com or 247sports.com or whatever recruiting website you want, and just give us the best high school prospect available as it pertains to NBA potential. So, like, don't give me Tyler Hansborough or whatever the equivalent is that, but look at the high school class, find me the best NBA prospect who is still available, give me that guy. That's who I want. And if the Grizzlies or any other franchise would have simply done that in that period of time, they would have had the best roster in the NBA, not even close. I cannot overstate this. The safest thing you could do is take the best high school player available. The safest thing. It would not be true in the NFL, or nearly as true, I agree. But I don't like the false narratives that get held up as reasons to not do this. Well, it'll just be a lot of young people making bad decisions. Okay, we have a country filled, the world filled of young people making bad decisions. There are people who drop out of college every day or skip college every day for reasons that you would not think are sensible. Every day. Well, I'm moving to LA to try to be an actor. Oh, I'm going to start a band. Oh, I just don't feel like it. I'm going to be a streamer. I'm going to whatever. I'd rather just bartend. Young people in this world are making questionable decisions all the time. I don't know why we care so much about football players. Well, they'll make bad decisions. Okay, I got 3 sons of my own. I'm going to focus on my 3 sons. I'm going to let Bennett focus on his 2. I'm going to let everybody else deal with theirs. I'm not out there trying to save football players from the bad decisions. They're adults. Adults make interesting decisions all the time. If some football players make bad decisions by entering the NFL draft, well, sometimes you got to learn lessons the hard way, but I don't consider that my problem. I think there aren't many football players who could enter the draft out of high school. There aren't many who could do it after 1 year of college. Maybe there aren't many who could do it after 2, but there are some. And they should not be prohibited from doing it. Jeremiah Smith provided a reminder last night why he should not be prevented from doing it.
By the way, yesterday when I don't remember if I guess it was 5 things when you said, or it might have been the Open yesterday when you said that the national championship game was tonight. I literally had forgotten that the national championship game was yesterday. First off, there was so much going on yesterday. Did it not seem like the most uneventful national championship ever? Because we love the playoff. We acknowledge like the playoff leading up to it. Like we like this whole new format. We're cool with it. But man, yesterday it felt like the most anticlimactic national championship in a long time, in my opinion.
I think yesterday was just a weird, like perfect storm of.
You got an inauguration.
You have an inauguration. It's MLK Day.
People are off work. Yeah.
People are off work. It's the day after, AFC semifinals, NFC semifinals.
Yeah.
I think they do need to be aware of all this stuff.
I do too.
Because it's interesting. College football is like a big deal, October, November, and then it does feel like it falls off the radar. It's just like, it feels like it climaxes with the conference championship games, and then we're just sort of doing things after that, and you're not real sure when the games are on. You're not real sure where the games are on. Oh, this one's being streamed on Max. Like you spend your entire college football season watching games on ESPN and CBS and ABC, and then it's like, here's a game on Max. Like you don't know when the games are. You don't know where they are. And then your championship game is on the Monday of an inauguration the day after a massive NFL day. So, these are things you need to think of if you're college football.
Yeah.
To this degree, all right, National Championship Monday for our sport, biggest day for our sport. When Stephen A. Smith's show comes on ESPN, what's their A block? They leading on us? Oh, no. The Commanders are in the NFC Championship game. That just happened this weekend. The Bills just eliminated Lamar Jackson. That happened last night. That's their A block. So on our national hold on, college football national championship game, and we can't get the A block? No.
That's a bad spot.
Well, then you got a problem. Should you be playing this game on Tuesday? Get it a day away from the NFL?
What if it was tonight? I think if it was tonight, it would be a way bigger deal than it was yesterday. And that's excluding the inauguration. I just think if it was tonight, it is all anybody's talking about.
I think, and if you and I can agree on that, that is something they need to think about.
Yeah.
I know they like playing their championship game on Monday for whatever reason, but it might not be the best thing for you to do.
It might not be.
It's a little, and just because you've been doing it that way doesn't mean that you should keep doing it that way. This is something that Raw has discussed. I know they're doing it on Monday nights on Netflix, but they have been open-minded about, we don't have to have Raw on Monday forever. We've been there forever, but is it smart for us to be going heads up with Monday Night Football during the winter? Is that really what we need to be doing? So they're at least open-minded about it. I think college football should be open-minded about it.
I do too.
You might need to find yourself a better day where you're not overwhelmed by the NFL, not to mention a big national holiday, not to mention a president being sworn in. Meantime, Ryan Day, I've seen 2 columns now that say more or less the same thing. Congratulations, buddy. It's time for you to go. You need to get out of there. Matt Hayes wrote the column. Dennis Dodd wrote the column. Everybody sort of understands if you want to maximize your chance to win national championships, as many as you can, maybe stay at Ohio State. They're going to give you the money to do it every year. That's what they did this season. They gave you more money than anybody else. You spent more money on players than anybody else, and now you're holding the trophy. This is college athletics. But what you have to understand if you're Ryan Day or anybody else in that job is every year you don't win the national championship and or beat Michigan, your life's going to be miserable. You ready for this? He just won a national title. That's a great season. His life has been miserable. Do you know that they've hired an armed guard to stand outside his home?
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
After the loss to Michigan, they were so fearful because of online threats and everything else, they have an armed guard outside their home in Columbus, Ohio. Kirk Herbstreit moved his family out of Columbus, Ohio to Nashville because it got so ugly. Because if he went on ESPN and said, I don't know if the Buckeyes are really that good, it got ugly for him and his kids and his family. They moved.
Wow.
He loves Ohio State. That's his alma mater.
Jeez.
He lives in Nashville. All right? The wife did a local news interview. Ryan Day's wife, she's in therapy. And, like, maybe everybody should be in therapy, right? But she's specifically in therapy because of the harassment connected to Ohio State fans because her husband can't seem to beat Michigan, even though her husband can win a national championship. So the argument is that shouldn't be your life.
Mm-mm.
Like, it's like every year you win the national championship will be fine. Maybe this one wasn't, and you won the national championship.
True.
But any year you don't, it's a problem. And if you lose to Michigan and don't, you have to have armed guards outside your house, or at least you feel like you have to.
That's crazy.
Do you want to live like this? Do you want to live like this?
No, man. And I mean, again, like you said, dude, if he loses to Michigan this upcoming season, they'll be calling to fire him again.
I understand it would be hard to walk away from what some people from a winning potential perspective might call the best job in the country. But if you were never comfortable in the job, if even the national championship years can get so bumpy where you have an armed guard outside your house, is this any way to live? Other people have walked away from stuff like this before. Tubby Smith walked away from Kentucky. Just said, I don't want to live like this anymore. They were not going to fire him, but he was like, this is ugly, and I don't want to be in this anymore. Went to Minnesota, left Kentucky for Minnesota. All right. John Calipari kind of just did this, leaving Kentucky.
Yeah,
he might have been trying to get out before one more year they'll fire you, but it was also a quality of life thing. I think Ryan Day's got a real hard decision here because I think it makes sense. You sit down with your wife, how you doing? They have 3 kids under the age of 16 who have to live in this. They have 3 kids under the age of 16 who woke up every day for, several weeks with armed guards outside their home because people hate their dad because he didn't beat Michigan, even though their dad was just a few weeks away from winning the national championship. You got to think about that. Oh, by the way, there's real trauma in Ryan Day's family history. He lost his father to suicide. Like mental health has been a thing in his family. Just all of these things are things that I think it would not occur to you in any other circumstances, to be the head coach at a place like that, win a national championship, and be wondering whether or not you need to find something else to do. This is a crazy thing to even think about, but it's not crazy as it pertains to Ryan Day in this very specific situation. I think it's sensible for him to think about it, all of this. In fact, I think it'd be kind of crazy if he didn't think about all of this.
Yep.
Number 2.
Way too early rankings already out. This probably makes it a little harder for Ryan Day to even consider any of the stuff Matt Hayes, Dennis Dodd thinks he should consider, stuff we were just talking about. Because guess who's number 1 in the preseason rankings?
It's got to be the Buckeyes.
The Ohio State Buckeyes, coming off a national championship season, 14-2 record, and expected to return Jeremiah Smith and a slew of other talented dudes. Ohio State is going to be number 1 in most of your preseason rankings. Ole Miss, I did see top 25 at ESPN. Tennessee, borderline top 20 at ESPN. Tigers, Memphis, didn't see them in there, but they counted us out before. We're not scared to prove people wrong.
Do we know if any AAC? I would assume no AAC teams are in the preseason top 25.
Not ones that I've seen.
Or the way too early top 20. I wouldn't think so.
It's the usual characters. It's harder to know now than it used to be at this time because we've got, transfer portal and roster shakeups, and having done this for basketball in the transfer portal era, I can just tell you that the rosters are going to change dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
But you can reasonably assume Ohio State's is going to be as strong as ever with all the money and resources. Now they have proof of the pudding,
Yeah.
They don't have to wonder if we throw money at this, can we do it? We threw money at it, we did it. So let's throw money at it again. That was fun. Let's go do it again. So Ohio State, number 1, will be your favorite to win the 2025 College Football National Championship, with that game, of course, being played in 2026 based on the way calendars work.
Number 3.
college football now behind us. College basketball moves closer to the forefront of the conversation. It's a Tuesday, so that means another big night in the SEC. Mississippi State at Tennessee, your headlining game. 6 o'clock Central, ESPN2. Bulldogs and Vols, both ranked in the top 15. Tennessee, though, preseason top 15. Number 1 in the AP poll as recently as a couple of weeks ago. But the Vols have taken a couple losses. They went down to Florida and got pounded by 30. Came back, won 2 games, then lost at Vanderbilt over the weekend, 76-75. So after starting 14-0, Tennessee just 2-2 in its past 4 games. You got concerns about Rick Barnes' teams, or just a little, this is life in the SEC stuff, Bennett?
Oh, I think this is just life in the SEC. No, I don't have. Listen, I've never had concern with his team with his teams in the regular season, right? Like he's always got good regular season teams. It's just going to come down to what happens when that tournament rolls around.
That's the knock, right? Like,
yeah.
Hey, man, one of the greatest regular season coaches of all time.
Yeah.
They tend to not meet expectations in the postseason. That is part of the Rick Barnes story. And so it will stay a part of this story until he can correct it. Now, they went to the Elite Eight last season, but the Vols, they've had some great coaches there. Bruce Pearl, now Rick Barnes. They've never been to a Final Four. This is a team that is clearly good enough to do it, but they haven't been playing as well lately. Chaz Lanier, transfer from North Florida, has not been playing as well lately. But, at home tonight, bounce back opportunity. Vols and Bulldogs, 6 o'clock, ESPN2. Tennessee listed right now as an 8.5-point favorite.
Number 4.
So the inauguration was yesterday.
Yeah, man, it was.
That was a wild situation.
I was like, I didn't get to, obviously we're so much going on yesterday. Like we had Amari Stoudemire in here, we're doing the show, and then it's over and I got to go over to the arena and we obviously have all the MLK Day festivities. So I didn't get to digest it all until after the fact. Like I got home and watched everything, like the recap of everything. There was some wild stuff, dude. Some wild stuff happened. Yeah.
It was a wild situation.
Yeah.
I didn't see it all live either because I was traveling. But, at some point you settle in the hotel room and you're like, well, let's see what's going on. And, like, the first thing I see, honestly, is President Trump just sitting in the Oval Office, just, like, talking to reporters. Just like we're back. Like, you just, like, talking to reporters, saying some things that make some sense and other things that don't really make much sense. But he's just, like, sitting behind the desk, just, like, talking to reporters. Just whatever y'all want to talk about, let's just talk about it. And, like, just a sort of a surreal moment, like, wow, here we are again.
Yeah.
And so I was then catching up on all the stuff that went viral. And, man, there's a lot. Man, we ain't got all day. We ain't got all day. But I don't know, the thing that made me laugh the most, right? First off, it was just sort of an interesting scene. You got all the wealthiest people in the world there, right? Everybody's just lined up, and everybody's picked their side, apparently. And all the wealthiest people in the world are there, or at least a lot of them, familiar faces. Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and then Jeff Bezos' fiance, the beautiful Lauren Sanchez. So they were all seated together, and I don't know, man. Sometimes your eyes, I guess, have a mind of their own. Sometimes your eyes just, I think probably we all been there. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. He peeked at Lauren Sanchez's boobies. Couldn't help himself.
I mean, listen, he got caught in HD. I mean, that's what he was doing.
Clearly, that's what he was doing.
Yeah, you can't beat those allegations. I mean, I'm watching it. I've seen that before.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he's sitting right next to her. Like, it's not like she's hiding them. Like, they're just right there.
Hiding.
No, they're right there. I can't blame Mark Zuckerberg here, okay?
I can't either.
Where's he supposed to look?
I mean, not there, Bennett, honestly.
Just straight ahead?
Yeah, straight ahead. But, like, we've all been there. And that's what you have to do. And I actually think it's like, let's be careful here. All right?
Yeah, okay. Let's be serious.
Let's be serious and not lose our jobs.
Okay.
All right? But, like, what do you want me to do? Sometimes I'm just like, what do you want me to do? All right? I'm doing the best I can. I didn't ask you to wear that shirt. All right? You put that on. And you know what you're doing. You're smart enough to know, like, how people look at you. And I'm not nothing. Do it. But, like, don't get mad at Bennett if his eyes slip up every once in a while, right? Because everybody knows what the score is, right? Lauren Sanchez knows what the score is. You think that's the first time anybody's ever taken a peek at Lauren Sanchez?
Unlikely.
Bennett, I bet if you let me get a hold of your Google history, I can find some Lauren Sanchez's in there. You ever Googled Lauren Sanchez?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was curious about who one of the richest men in the world was getting married to, GB.
We've all Googled Lauren Sanchez. Everybody's done it.
I'm doing our research.
And we've done our research.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm one of Amazon's biggest customers.
Exactly. Yeah, you've got a stake in this.
I got a stake in this.
Yeah.
All right. I need to know who my CEO's running around with.
Right.
All right. So I've done my Lauren Sanchez research just like any other well-read American. I need to know. Like, okay, I got garbage bags going to be here in 24 hours. The only reason that's possible is because of Jeff Bezos. I need to know who he's spending his time with. All right? I don't need him to get distracted. Next thing you know, it takes 36 hours for me to get garbage bags.
Yeah.
So I've done my Lauren Sanchez research. And I bet you that happens to Lauren Sanchez every day. Let's stop there. Bennett, how often a day does that happen to Lauren Sanchez?
Oh, I mean, I know that probably wasn't the only time yesterday.
That's the only time yesterday.
Yeah, that probably wasn't the only time yesterday. Yeah, I would probably a good amount. Look, I saw people saying this actually worked out good for Zuckerberg because all the response I saw yesterday was, "Oh my God, he is like us. Like he's a normal dude."
That's the most normal thing I've ever seen that guy do.
Right.
Every other time I see him talk or do anything, I'm like, man, what is wrong with him? I mean, I know he's a genius and all that. Like, I got it. I understand. He's a genius and I'm an idiot. I understand. I got it. But, like, what's wrong with that fella? That's what I think every time. But, like, I saw that and I'd be like, yeah, that's tough. That's a tough spot. I don't see that and make fun of him. I see that and go, that could be me. You know?
Yeah.
I see that and I go, man, I could get caught doing that.
Yeah.
You know? I think I understand. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he meant nothing by it. It's just every once in a while your eyes can remind you that you're human.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you know? And as long as it stops there, you know what? Like, as a man, Bennett, you mind me to speak on behalf of men for a second?
Go ahead.
As a man, speaking on behalf of men, that's where it has to stop. If the worst thing you do is let your eyes slip up a little bit, you're probably being better than most men.
I think that's true. I think that's right.
And that's all I saw with Mark Zuckerberg. He let his eyes slip up a little bit. He didn't get touchy-feely. He didn't get weird with the lean in. He didn't try to hug a little longer than he should have. He just let his eyes slip up a little bit. That's a common foul. In NBA terms, we're going to call this a common foul.
Okay.
Right? This is a common foul. We're just going to keep it moving.
Good.
We're not going to go to the monitors. We're not going to upgrade it. We're not going to fine him. It's a common foul. This is one that could happen to any of. Bennett, could that have happened to you if you were lucky enough to be sitting next to Lauren Sanchez?
I mean, I'm pretty good at the eye control. I would have known what to do.
But even then, this is something we need to talk to women about. When you are going out of your way not to look, which is something we've all done, is it even worse? Do you know what we're doing? Do you know what we're doing?
I don't know.
I think on some level,
it's the safest thing to do.
It's probably the safest thing, but I feel like they know we're faking. I feel like you're on to me. You know, I feel like you're on to me.
Yeah.
You laughing at?
Yeah, no, just the chat. Oh, the chat is cracking me up today. There were some other really good moments too, though.
Because
we got to get to the other good moments.
When you're sitting there like this, Bennett, it looks like everybody knows you're fake.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at Mark Zuckerberg. That was a common foul. It was a common foul. Let's keep the game moving.
Yep.
All right. Billy Ray, they had all sorts of audio issues yesterday.
I know. Hey, kudos to Carrie Underwood. She handled it. She handled her business. I give her credit.
She handled her business. And then it was Billy Ray's time.
Then it was his turn.
Man, Billy Ray Cyrus, I mean, I guess I can applaud the bravery it takes.
Yeah.
He must know on some level he can't do this. but he said, what the hell, let's give it a try anyway. So I don't guess I'd ever heard Billy Ray Cyrus sing Old Town Road a cappella, and I bet we never get a chance to hear it again because he'll never try this again. But he did try it yesterday for our country, I guess, and well, you can see it for yourself. Bennett, listen to this.
Okay.
I'm gonna take my horse to the Old Town Road. I'm gonna ride.
Is that Rob Zombie?
No more. Gonna take my horse, Old Town Road. I'm gonna take my horse to the Old Town Road.
Okay, get into it.
I'm gonna take my horse to the Old Town Road.
Come on, Billy.
I can't no more. Y'all can put your hands together now like that. If you encourage about, keep going. They told me to kill as much time as possible, so.
Don't do that.
Does anybody know the words to Achy Breaky Heart?
Hell yeah.
I'll try a little bit. Let's see what happens.
Come on, Billy.
Check.
Mic check. 1, 2.
Better turn it off.
Hey, is my guitar still on? I think they cut me off. Is my guitar on, guys?
It's not on.
I don't hear my guitar anymore.
Because it's not on, and you should cut the mic off too and just go right
check.
back.
Is anybody awake?
Do something, Billy.
I don't hear it. Do y'all hear this?
Come on, man. You had him.
Where's everybody at? Check. Is anyone back there? Can somebody turn my guitar back on? We're going to sing a little bit more.
Somebody help him.
If this happened at Grind City on a Thursday, I would lose my mind. I'd be yelling at everybody. All right?
Oh,
what are we doing?
Dude,
what's going on?
That was so good. First off, he definitely, he looks like Rob Zombie. He does. He's got the Rob Zombie look down. The voice is shot, bro. I mean, did nobody have any apple cider vinegar laying around for him?
I don't know why, buddy. I'm against lip syncing, but not in these situations.
See, that's the problem is they lost the music for Carrie Underwood, and she handled it well. She did I think she did America the Beautiful. And she did it really well. It was a rousing ovation, and she's a fellow country artist. And so if you're Billy Ray, well, I'm a legend in this game. I've been doing this longer than Carrie Underwood. I can do a cappella too, and I'll get the crowd. He had him for a second. Maybe
a second, maybe a half a second. He never had me. That was rough.
He lost me pretty quick.
Hey, the people have spoken. America's spoken. This is what y'all wanted.
This is what you get.
This is what you wanted. This is what you spoke. America has spoken. You went to the ballot box, and this is what you said America wanted.
Yeah.
So here we are, day 2. Here we are.
That was good. That was good stuff.
I mean, obviously, I got all these people text message me like, "Well, did you see this? And you see that?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to live and die with this stuff. I'm just not. Life's too short. I'm just not going to live it.
No, I had fun.
I'm not going to spend every day of my life just mad at the chaotic nature of everything.
It's like the Grizzlies. We're not going to live and die with every game. We're taking these in 5-game sample sizes, bro.
And it's not to suggest I don't have the same concerns on some level that other people have about certain things, right? We can have all of those conversations if you want to another day. But I see people, they're just mad every 2 hours, just as mad as they can be about something new. And I don't want to be as I've said before, unless you live with me, with few exceptions, I'm not going to let you have access to my emotions. You're not going to make me too mad unless you live with me. I'll get real mad about people I live with. But if you don't, if you don't live, I'm not going to live and die with the news cycle every day. It's just, the thing I think is most interesting, because you see a lot of people who vote the way I vote, and they're flipping out yesterday and tweeting this and posting that, and I get it. I understand. To me, the more interesting thing, if you're on my side of the whatever, you need to figure out why, in all seriousness, jokes aside, why did America feel like this is what they wanted? It wasn't true 4 years ago. This guy lost 2 popular elections in a row. And after the second one, it was like, we're done with this guy. That's what America said. We're done with this guy. And something happened over the next 4 years that made America run enthusiastically back in his direction, more so than they ever had before. Why? What happened? What did you do to make people run that way? That's the thing you really need to figure out.
I think it's a fair question.
Yeah, rather than just, making jokes all day long and yelling Hitler every day. Of course, the Elon Musk stuff didn't help that at all. Like, my God, buddy.
I saw a really good tweet. Ironic that I saw it on Twitter. That said, if you didn't, if you're one of those people that says that's not what Elon Musk was doing, then do it at your job today and see what happens. I was like, well, when you put it like that, I will say I don't think he was giving the Nazi salute.
I think he's just a completely awkward autistic dude, but like, it's just not good. It's just obviously not good,
Yeah.
I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I understand why other people are less interested in doing that. It's a weird time, but rather than just screaming about it all day long, I'd be trying to figure out what made people run that direction. What made people who didn't want to run that direction, who said they never would, actually do it? There's a lot of people who ran that direction who said they never would. What happened? That's the thing that you need to figure out. Otherwise, otherwise you get what you get. Here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Number 5.
Justin Bieber unfollowed his wife Hailey Bieber on Instagram. Whole world flipped out. What do you think? What do you make of that?
This got buried. Yeah, this one got buried.
Diddy case. Justin Bieber has removed himself from the public eye and now unfollowed his wife on Instagram.
That's no good.
What do you think?
I did see that he came out today and said that somebody else did that. The classic "I was hacked" situation.
What do you think? Do you believe him or not?
I mean, didn't they just had a baby, right?
They did just have a baby.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that their relationship's going strong. Although that could fracture. Actually, I take that back. That could fracture. I mean, hey, listen, my relationship is stronger than ever, and we had 2 babies. So, I just look at it from my perspective. But I can understand how it could maybe fracture a relationship. That's fine.
Megan Fox is pregnant with Machine Gun Kelly's baby, and they are not together.
Fair point. Okay.
Babies don't solve your issues.
Yeah, that's a good life advice.
Yeah. File that one away.
Yeah.
They won't help the things you think they'll help.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think Justin Bieber was really hacked? Do you think he unfollowed his wife?
I think that he was hacked because it said he unfollowed Selena Gomez too.
Yeah, I think probably.
Because that's the thing is if I'm like connecting dots and he's unfollowing his wife on Instagram, that would mean maybe he misses his old fling.
Oh, you're connecting a lot of dots.
So why would you unfollow both? I think a classic hacked situation here.
Why would you unfollow both? Yeah. So if that's the question, the answer would be this. You're going through it a little bit. Maybe you were drinking, maybe you were drugging, maybe you got into a weird state and you were just like, I'm so tired of this world. Unfollow. Like, people do that. People unfollow in times of frustration or disappointment or anger or whatever. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's it. And then you just come back later once you sober up, once you get a little clearer mind and you're like, I didn't mean to do that. Follow, right? Okay, so that's one explanation. I think the more likely scenario is that, maybe you accidentally did it or somebody did hack into your stuff. I run into this a few days ago. I text somebody and they were like, dude, why is your phone now saying to update your contact to Louis Parrish? And it's because I handed my phone to my 8-year-old at one point, and he played around with it. Next thing you know, I'm texting people, and it's got a Ellie De La Cruz picture. And
right.
Louis Parrish. Like, what did Gary do to his phone? Why did he do that? I don't know. I handed it to my kid, and something happened. I don't know what's going on. There's another one. How about this? Just people reading. Sometimes I think people read too much into social media stuff. There are people, I've noticed this, there are people who really live online, and they notice every little thing. And then there's like the rest of us who just don't think about it that much. Like there are people who are living and dying with everything on Facebook, and the rest of us just sort of look at it when we're bored, stopped at a red light, right? So this is a real thing that happened to me last summer. Me and Kelly go on a vacation, and I post a bunch of pictures on Instagram. Like, hey, it's the best vacation ever. It was just, just like every other vacation. But like, oh, it was the best one. This was the most amazing. Whatever. They're all the same. And somebody had, I don't know, I might have done it. Here's the thing. This is me empathizing with Justin Bieber. I might have done it. Somebody else could have done it. Could have been one of my kids. I don't know. But they hit a button that makes it, when you post something on Instagram, it automatically uploads it to a different, to my Facebook page, where I only put work stuff.
Gotcha.
And articles and columns and rankings and podcasts and stuff. And it automatically uploads it there. Well, I didn't know it was doing that. So there's this whole thing that's happening over on Facebook. I don't even know that it's happening. So I see it 3 days later, and I'm like, oh, all these pictures posted over on this Facebook page there where I only post work stuff. I don't want them over here because this is all just work stuff. So I delete them. I guess, oh, dude, I didn't even know that was here. So I just delete it off of Facebook, leave it up on Instagram. Fast forward, we're at a baseball game, and one of the parents like pulls Kelly aside. He's like, is everything okay with you and Gary? She's like, well, what are you talking about? Well, I saw he posted y'all's vacation stuff on Facebook and then deleted it all. And I just wondered if everything's okay. She's like, wait, what? Yeah. So then she comes to me, she's like, did you delete a bunch of stuff on Facebook? I'm like, no, what? And then I'm like, oh, yeah, those pictures posted on Instagram, they automatically posted on my work page on Facebook. So I just went and deleted them. She's like, oh, but like people were whispering about that.
Yeah.
Just, it was a nothing thing. But people were like, ooh, I wonder what this means. It meant nothing. It meant absolutely nothing. But people were certain that it meant something. I wonder if that's what Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber are right now. What do you think?
I think you're probably onto something there. I think that's probably accurate.
Well, I hope it works out for them. Whatever, if they have issues, I hope they resolve them. And if they don't have issues, I hope we leave them alone and just let them continue to raise their beautiful child in peace.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Hey, speaking of music, by the way, did you see the Riverbeat Music Fest lineup? Have you seen it yet?
I've seen it in passing, but I have not.
Okay, it's pretty good. I think they did a good job with this thing. They dropped the lineup today. Okay, so the headliners are the three big headliners are Missy Elliott, The Killers, and Anderson .Paak, which that's pretty good right there. You got two kind of legacy acts, and then Anderson .Paak's like super famous right now.
He was here a few years ago too.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. Benson Boone, he's big time now. Cage the Elephant, Ludacris is coming, Busta Rhymes, Public Enemy, Steve Aoki. You got some good acts.
Sounds good to me.
They did pretty good. Okay, shout out. Thanks, Kyra.
Hey, anytime you put stages and music and sell drinks and food and stuff, that's a good time, as far as I'm concerned, right?
Yeah.
There's the lineup. Bennett's excited. Missy Elliott,
I think it's good.
Star.
I want to give flowers. When I see someone, I'm like, hey, they did a good job with that.
All right, Bennett's fired up. I'm fired up with him.
Yeah.
Riverbeat. All right, we'll be back with GP's carryout. We'll call this a day.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans, and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
At the National Civil Rights Museum, history moves us forward. The question remains, how does history move you?
Keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Built Ford Tough studio, or at least Bennett is back in Memphis. I'm in New York City. I'll be here for a couple of days. Back in studio in Memphis on Friday after TV work here in Manhattan. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but we mostly focused on your Memphis Grizzlies. Another win yesterday inside FedEx Forum. Beat the Timberwolves. We're down by 16. Stormed back. Nice fourth quarter. Outscored it by 7 to win by 2. Ja, Jaren, and Dez all scored. All played at least 30 minutes. All scored big. All played at least 30 minutes and helped the Grizzlies improve to 28-15 on the season. 5th best record in the NBA, 3rd best record in the West, with the Hornets coming to town tomorrow night with an opportunity for the Grizzlies to get the 29th win of the season. We'll get you ready for that one tomorrow, 10 a.m. here on Grind City Media.
What did we learn today?
Oh, sorry. That's what we learned. My
What's
fault.
Today's biggest
I almost made it.
That was I didn't know if I was going to be able to come. I don't think we learned much more than that.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to be able to tell you much more than that. Biggest game today. Let's go back to college.
Let's go.
Basketball. I'll take you to Knoxville. Number 14, Mississippi State. Number 6, Tennessee. Inside the Food City Center. Rest in peace, Thompson Bowling.
What?
The Food City Center. I think it's technically the Food City Center at Thompson Bowling Arena or something like that. But still.
They got good food there?
I mean, it's been a minute since I've been to
Oh,
Thompson
it's an American. It's a supermarket.
Oh, yeah, I assume that.
That makes sense.
Food City Center. That's where Tennessee plays basketball now, the Food City Center. Rick Barnes Vols, 8.5-point favorites tonight. Totals 141.5. That's a lot of points to be given to Chris Jans.
Man.
A lot of points to be given to Chris Jans. You missed again last night, Bennett. I apologize.
And it was looking so good.
Yeah, but then Ohio State had to score again.
Yep. Yeah, it was
Notre
looking.
Dame decided to kick a field goal in the fourth quarter.
What was that? What was that? Are you trying to win a national championship or not?
Didn't look like it. Didn't look like it to me.
Are you just trying to make it look like it was close? I mean, give me a break.
Give me a break. 180, 179 and 4. That's your new record.
Okay.
You're now negative 18.3 units. How you gonna act tonight?
You know what? I'm more of a Kroger guy, but Food City is kind of a cool name. I think that the Vols, you've said that they've kind of been a little iffy as of late. I think they right the ship tonight at home. I think Vols big over Mississippi State tonight.
Then it's predicting a blowout.
Bulldogs have slipped a little bit. Bulldogs have slipped a little bit.
Defeat Ole Miss.
They did, but they lost 2 before that.
Okay, Bennett. Okay, Bennett says take Tennessee minus the 8.5. Tip tonight.
Yeah.
6 o'clock. ESPN 2.
What are we watching on TV?
Believe it or not, I'll be doing this for another hour on CBS Sports Network. In about 40 minutes, I'll take off the toboggan and I'll put on a coat. I'll look a little more professional. Not a lot, but a little more professional. And we'll be doing an hour of college basketball talk, the Eye on College Basketball Podcast on CBS Sports Network. That's coming up at noon. So, yeah, if you're bored out of your mind, or at the very least, just DVR it and get to it later after the Chris Vernon show.
Mm-hmm.
Eye on College Basketball Podcast, CBS Sports Network, noon Central.
What's the best thing we've read?
I told you Matt Hayes had a nice column USA Today about why Ryan Day really should consider leaving Ohio State even after winning the national championship. If you want to read that, it's a good piece. You can find it at usatoday.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Tomorrow is Wednesday. Chris Vernon will join me in the first hour. Talk NBA, Grizzlies with him. He'll help us get ready for Grizz Hornets. So that'll be a fun show. Looking forward to it already. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to do my best to enjoy mine, and we'll meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.